All right. Hello, I'm Lee. Gonna do a scripture study continuing Deuteronomy. Happy Sabbath, everyone. We're gonna go through and see what we can learn. We left off on Deuteronomy chapter 5 last time, so I've got the Samaritan Pentateuch pulled up here and some translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Thompson Septuagint and the Brenton Septuagint and the KJV. Got it pulled up. And Blue Letter Bible. And I've got the Aramaic Targum pulled up here. Deuteronomy. Pseudo Jonathan. So go ahead and start. Let's see, we got the scroll fragment here. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now this is the commandment, the statutes, and the ordinances which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you go over to possess it, that you might fear Yahuwah your Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you, you and your son and your son's son, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the Elohim of your fathers, has promised to you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, Israel, Yahuwah is our Elohim. Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And that is... in Mark chapter 12, verse 30. Well, it starts at 28. So 12:28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reason together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, what is the first commandment of all? So they asked him, what is the first commandment? And Yahushua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Lord. So he quotes Deuteronomy. That's the first commandment. So you're supposed to know Deuteronomy. And thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Did he say the only commandment? No, he said the first commandment. And then he goes on to the second commandment, and so on and so forth. So you see here, he quotes Deuteronomy. So if he come to die and do away with the law, he would not quote the law. Makes no sense. These words which I command you today shall be on your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. So this right here is not in the manuscript. What's in our modern translation? And it looks like that's the only witness we have is that one scroll, but it is not there. So verse 6. Yeah. So let's see. When you walk by the way. When you walk by the way, it's in the King James Version. Let's see here. Verse 6. Yep, when you walk by the way. It's in the Samaritan Pentateuch. And when you're walking abroad. Yep. 6. Walk by the way. Aramaic. Let's see. Journeying, by the way, in the Aramaic Targum. So, Dead Sea Scrolls says that, and when you walk by the way is not included. You shall bind them for a sign on your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. So all his commandments are supposed to be a sign on our hand and frontlets between our eyes. That's not as the Jews do, where they put them on their arm and a box on their head. No, that's not what he's saying. You're to do them with your hand and to think about them. They're to be in your mind, which is so the mark of Yahuwah, the Creator, Revelation 7:3, saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads." So the servants get sealed in their foreheads. His commandments are supposed to be in our foreheads. Revelation 14, I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. His name is also his authority, or his seal, his commandments. Revelation 22:4, they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. See, Revelation 9:4, it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. So it tells you what's in their foreheads. The seal of God, seal of Yahuwah. So if you don't have the seal of Yahuwah, you're going to have the seal of the beast. Revelation 13, he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand. Where's the commandments at? A sign on your hand or in their foreheads. Commandments are supposed to be in your forehead and in your hand. So if they're not, and next verse it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. What's the only day that we're not supposed to buy and sell? On the Sabbath. So we're not supposed to buy and sell on the Sabbath. We don't have their mark. We've got his mark, his Sabbath. They can buy and sell on the Sabbath. And when you look at his seal, where's that? Exodus. Let's see. Yes, Exodus. Well, Exodus 31 is one place too. So Exodus 31:16, wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign or mark between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and the earth, and on the seventh day he was rested and was refreshed. That's also in Genesis. It also quotes Genesis here, Exodus 20:11, for in 6 days you have made heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. When he rested on the seventh day of creation, he hallowed it forever. You got, Genesis, let's see, 2:3. And Yahuwah blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested. So why was it blessed and sanctified? Because in it he rested from all his work which he created and made. If he hadn't done that, it wouldn't have been blessed and sanctified it. Blessed the seventh day and sanctified it because made says seal. Let me look on there. Yep. So pretty much his seal is creator of heaven and earth, like you'll see old seals. Let's see. King seal. Oh. Kind of illustrate what I'm saying here. King seals. So you'll see it'll say King of England or King of Babylon. Their authority is their seal of what they're over. So he's maker of heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is. That's his seal. He's king over the earth. So his commandments and his Sabbath is ordained. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. It shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim brings you into the land which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give you great and goodly cities which you didn't build, and houses full of all good things which you didn't fill, and cisterns dug out which you didn't dig, vineyards and olive trees which you didn't plant, and you shall eat and be full. So 11 to, so 12. This Samaritan Pentateuch. Then beware lest you forget Yahuwah Elohim of you, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which are round about you, for Yahuwah thy Elohim is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of Yahuwah thy Elohim be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim, as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, and his testimonies and his statutes which he hath commanded thee. You shall do that which is right and good in Yahuwah's sight, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to cast out all enemies from before thee, as the eternal Elohim hath spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuwah our Elohim hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and Yahuwah brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And Yahuwah showed signs and wonders great and sore upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household, before our eyes, and he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our Elohim, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah our Elohim, as he hath commanded us. His commandments are righteous, and it shall be for our righteousness if we do them, if we observe to do. First John 3:7, little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteous is righteous, even as he is righteous. So when we do his commandments, we're righteous even as our Father is righteous. And Messiah said also, Matthew 19:17, he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Yahuwah. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Chapter 7. So we got quite a few different fragments here. We'll do Paleo Deuteronomy. That's the original Hebrew script before it got corrupted. The Aramaic Hebrew is the corrupted Babylonian script. If you look at the Syriac or Assyrian, you'll see Assyrian. See, the Israel got taken into Babylon. Let's see, Syrian with vowel points. Where's it at? Yeah, so you see in the Syrian, Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Daleth, Hey, Wal, Zain, Heth, Te, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem. Sound familiar? Letter form, Aleph in Assyrian, biblical, they call Hebrew. Oh, that looks like Assyrian. Alright. It's Assyrian. Wal. So you got, in the vowel, they use the vowel pointing system too. And, let's see, where's that? Paleo Hebrew. They call it Paleo Hebrew, but it's actually Hebrew, the Hebrew language. Now, does that look anything like Assyrian or what they call Hebrew today? No, way different. Way different. And they do use these to kind of see these here, what they call Hebrew, and then the original Hebrew. But yeah, they didn't even have, there's no V, no J, 22 letters. I'm no Hebrew scholar, but I know a little bit about it. Deuteronomy 7, when Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. So you got 7 nations there. Deuteronomy 7. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. Yep. So those were in the land. And when Yahuwah your Elohim delivers them up before you, and you strike them, then you shall utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy to them. You shall not make marriages with them. You shall not give your daughter to his son, nor shall you take his daughter for your son, for he will turn away your son from following me, that he may serve other gods. So it'd be a he, not a they. So Yahuwah's anger would be kindled against you, and he would destroy you quickly. But you shall deal with them like this. You shall break down their altars, dash their pillars in pieces, cut down their Asherah poles, and burn their engraved images with fire. For you are a holy people to Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim has chosen you to be a people for his own possession, above all peoples who are on the face of the earth. Yahuwah didn't set his love on you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. But because Yahuwah loves you, and because he desires to keep the oath which he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahuwah has brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. 8. 8 to 16. So, but because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep oath which he swore to your fathers, know therefore that Yahuwah thy Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. So to 1,000 generations, is that over with yet? 1,000 generations. Nope, don't think so. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that Yahuwah thy Elohim shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he swore unto thy fathers, and he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, thy wine, and thine oil, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep, and the land which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And Yahuwah will take away from thee all sickness. Let's go over this one right here. Yeah, we got, okay, it shall happen because you listen to those ordinances and keep and do them, that Yahuwah your Elohim will keep with you the covenant and loving kindness which he swore to your fathers. That's verse 12. He will love you, bless you, and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your body and the fruit of the ground, your grain and your wine and your oil, the increase of your livestock and the young of your flock. In the land which he swore to your fathers to give you, you will be blessed above all peoples. There won't be a male or female barren among you or among your livestock. Yahuwah will take away from you all sickness, and he will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which you know, on you, but will lay them on all those who hate you. You shall consume all the peoples whom Yahuwah your Elohim shall deliver to you. Your eyes shall not pity them. You shall not serve their gods, for that would be a snare to you. 16. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. It's hard to keep up with it sometimes. So that will be a snare to you if you shall say in your heart, these nations are more than I. How can I dispossess them? You shall not be afraid of them. You shall remember well what Yahuwah your Elohim did to Pharaoh and to all Egypt, the great trials which your eyes saw, the signs, the wonders, the mighty hand, the outstretched arm, by which Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out. So shall Yahuwah your Elohim do to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. Moreover, Yahuwah your Elohim will send the hornet among them, until those who are left and hide themselves perish from before you. You shall not be scared of them, for Yahuwah your Elohim is among you, a great and awesome Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim will cast out those nations before you little by little. You may not consume them at once, lest the animals of the field increase on you. But Yahuwah your Elohim will deliver them up before you, and will confuse them with a great confusion until they are destroyed. He will deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall make their name perish from under the sky. No one will be able to stand before you until you have destroyed them. You shall burn the engraved images of their gods with fire. You shall not covet the silver or the gold that is on them, nor take it for yourself, lest you be snared in it, for it is an abomination to Yahuwah your Elohim. 25. You shall not bring an abomination into your house and become a devoted thing like it. You shall utterly detest it, and you shall utterly abhor it, for it is a devoted thing. That's interesting here. He said, in this manuscript, it says, none of the evil diseases of Egypt which you have seen and which you know matches the LXX. The scroll uses the plural U, while the Masoretic text uses a singular U. So this matches the LXX reading. Great trials today, which your eyes saw. Today. Interesting. So we got 26. So Deuteronomy chapter 8. The scroll 4Q30. You shall observe to do all the commandments which I command you today, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers. You shall remember all the way which Yahuwah your Elohim has led you these 40 years in the wilderness, that he might humble you, to prove you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. He humbled you and allowed you to be hungry, and fed you with manna which you didn't know, neither did your fathers know, that he might teach you that man does not live by bread only, but man lives by every word that proceeds out of Yahuwah's mouth. And also, Luke 4. Let's go to, zoom in a little bit. Luke chapter 4. And Yahusha, being full of the Holy Ghost, returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. There's no J before 1500. And Jesus, that ain't it. They took the Father's name out and they messed with his name too. Being 40 days tempted of the devil, and in those days he did eat nothing, and when they were ended, he afterward hungered. And the devil said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, command this stone that it be made bread. And Yahusha answered him, saying, It is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of Yahuwah. So, if we don't need the law, he would not reply to Satan, quoting Deuteronomy. You must know the law. He used that as a defense against the devil's temptation. And what do we fight against? First Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So if he did it to the Messiah, he will do the same thing to us. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Hebrews 4:12, for the word of Yahuwah is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. He quotes Deuteronomy. Your clothing didn't grow old on you, neither did your foot swell. These 40 years you shall consider in your heart, that as a man disciplines his son, so Yahuwah your Elohim disciplines you. That's also in Hebrews. Chastises. Oh, if I can find it here. Hebrews 12:7. If you endure chastening, Yahuwah dealeth with you as with sons, for what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? Same thing. So 5. Did they use the Old Testament or the older scriptures? Yes, they did. 6. You shall keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahuwah your Elohim brings you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of springs and underground water flowing into valleys and hills. That is That's interesting. A land of wheat and barley, and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land in which you shall eat bread without scarceness. You shall not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you may dig copper. You shall eat and be full, and you shall bless Yahuwah your Elohim for the good land which he has given you. Beware lest you forget Yahuwah your Elohim, and not keeping his commandments, and his ordinances, and his statutes, which I command you today. Lest when you have eaten and are full, and have built fine houses, and lived in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart might be lifted up, and you forget Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Who led you through the great and terrible wilderness with venomous snakes and scorpions and thirsty ground where there was no water, who poured water out for you out of the rock of flint, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers didn't know, that he might humble you, and that he might prove you, to do you good at your latter end. And lest you say in your hearts, my power and the might of my hand has got me this wealth, but you shall remember Yahuwah your Elohim, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, as it is today. It shall be, if you shall forget Yahuwah your Elohim, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify with the heavens and the earth against you today, that you shall surely perish. As the nations that Yahuwah makes to perish before you, so you shall perish, because you wouldn't listen to Yahuwah your Elohim's voice. So 1 here matches the Samaritan Pentateuch, and implied by the spacing. That'd be there. And 2 matches the LXX. I testify with the heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth witness. So let's see, 20. It should be, yep, that's it. Deuteronomy 9. Hear, Israel, you are to pass over the Jordan today to go into dispossess nations greater and mightier than yourself, cities great and fortified up to the sky. Why were they great and fortified up to the sky? Because there were giants living there. A people great and tall, the sons of the Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard say, who can stand before the sons of Anak? 3. Nope. So, verse 3, understand therefore this day that Yahuwah thy Elohim is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahuwah has said unto thee. Don't say in your heart, after Yahuwah your Elohim has thrust them out from before you, saying, for my righteousness Yahuwah has brought me in to possess this land, because Yahuwah drives them out before you, because of the wickedness of these nations. Not for your righteousness, or for the uprightness of your heart, do you go in to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, the 7 nations. Yahuwah your Elohim does drive them out from before you, that he may establish the word which Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Know therefore that Yahuwah your Elohim doesn't give you this good land to possess for your righteousness, for you are a stiff-necked people. Remember and don't forget how you provoked Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness. From the day that you left the land of Egypt until you came to this place, you have been rebellious against Yahuwah. 7. Yep. So it goes 7 to 10, 11, 10. Also in Horeb you provoked Yahuwah to wrath, so that Yahuwah was angry with you to have destroyed you, when I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant which Yahuwah made with you. Then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water. Yahuwah delivered to me the 2 stone tablets written with Yahuwah's finger. On them were all the words which Yahuwah spoke with you on the mountain out of the middle of the fire in the day of the assembly. Could you imagine him writing on stone with his finger? That'd be cool. Out of the middle of the fire in the day of assembly. Deuteronomy 5. It came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights. That'd be more than cool. That'd be awesome. That Yahuwah gave me the 2 stone tablets, even the tablets of the covenant. Yahuwah said to me, arise, get down quickly from here, for your people whom you have brought out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have quickly turned away from the way which I commanded them. They have made a molten image for themselves. 12. Furthermore, Yahuwah spoke to me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Leave me alone, that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under the sky, and I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, you had sinned against Yahuwah your Elohim, and had made you a molten calf. You had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahuwah had commanded you. I took hold of the 2 tablets and threw them out of my 2 hands, and broke them before your eyes. I fell down before Yahuwah as at the first, 40 days and 40 nights. I neither ate bread nor drank water, because of all your sin which you sinned in doing that which was evil in Yahuwah's sight, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure with which Yahuwah was angry against you, to destroy you. But Yahuwah listened to me that time also. 20. And Yahuwah was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him, and I prayed for Aaron also at the same time. I took your sin, the calf which you had made, and burned it with fire, and crushed it, grinding it very small, until it was fine as dust. I threw its dust into the brook that descended out of the mountain, at Taberah, and at Massa, and at Kibroth Hatavah. You provoked Yahuwah to wrath, when Yahuwah sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you. You rebelled against the commandment of Yahuwah your Elohim, and you didn't believe him, nor listen to his voice. Let's see, that's 23. Yep. 29, 27. You have been rebellious against Yahuwah from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because Yahuwah had said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah Elohim, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Don't look at the stubbornness of this people, nor at their wickedness, nor at their sin, lest the land you brought us out from say, because Yahuwah was not able to bring them into the land which he promised to them, and because he hated them, he has brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. Yet they are your people and your inheritance, which you brought out by your great power and by your outstretched arm. 10. Yeah, it's interesting if you look at, let's see. Deuteronomy 9. '23. He ground it very small and cast the dust into the brook that descended out of the mount. Threw the dust into the torrent which ran down out of the mount. And cast it into the brook. Yep. You look in Exodus. Exodus 32. So Exodus 32, he strawed it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink of it. Exodus 32:20. '19. Yeah. Let's see. Exodus 32:20. made the children of Israel drink of it. Not in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Thompson, Exodus 32. Yep, strewed it in the water and made the Israelites drink it. Yep. Scattered in water, yep. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit different in another account. So Deuteronomy just says he threw it into the brook. Exodus says he made them drink it. So Deuteronomy 10. At that time Yahuwah said to me, cut 2 stone tablets like the first and come up to me onto the mountain and make an ark of wood. I will write on the tablets the words of Yahuwah that were on the first tablets which you broke, and you shall put them in the ark. That's 2. So I made an ark of acacia wood and cut 2 stone tablets like the first and went up onto the mountain, having the 2 tablets in my hand. 4. Yeah. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments which Yahuwah spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of assembly, and Yahuwah gave them unto me. I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made, and there they are as Yahuwah commanded me. The children of Israel traveled from Beroth, Bene Jaakan, to Mosra. There Aaron died, and there he was buried, and Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his place. From there they traveled to Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jotbatha, a land of brooks of water. At that time Yahuwah set apart the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of Yahuwah's covenant, to stand before Yahuwah to minister to him, and to bless in his name to this day. Set apart Levi to bear the ark of the covenant, to stand before Yahuwah to minister, and to bless in his name. Levi is the priesthood. 8. So at that time. Therefore Levi has no portion nor inheritance with his brothers. Yahuwah is his inheritance, according as Yahuwah your Elohim spoke to him. I stayed on the mountain as at the first time, 40 days and 40 nights, and Yahuwah listened to me that time also, and Yahuwah will not destroy you. Yahuwah said to me, arise, take your journey before the people, and they shall go in and possess the land which I swore to their fathers to give to them. Now Israel, what does Yahuwah your Elohim require of you, but to fear Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul? Same thing, with all your heart, with all your soul. 12. Yeah. 2:14. And to keep the commandments of Yahuwah Elohim of you, and of his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, to Yahuwah your Elohim belongs heaven and the heaven of heavens, so more than one heaven, the earth with all that is therein. Only Yahuwah had a delight in your fathers to love them, and he chose their offspring after them, even you above all peoples, as it is today. So that's going to be, yep, only as is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For Yahuwah your Elohim is a God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God and mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. Acts 10:34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, "Of a truth I perceive that Yahuwah is no respecter of persons." Romans 2:11. For there is no respect of persons with God, Yahuwah. James 2:9. But if you have respect to persons, you commit sin and are convinced of the law as transgressors. We're supposed to be like our Father in heaven. He regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. He that execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, and him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy Elohim, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons. That's 70. And now Yahuwah thy Elohim hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. Into Egypt. Oops. I think it's in Luke. Where's it at? Let's see. Where's it at here? Into Egypt. Is that Acts 7? Yeah, here we go. Acts 7, verse 14. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred, 75 souls. Ooh, where's the extra 5 coming from here? So Jacob went down to Egypt and died, he and our fathers. So it says, Book of Acts says 75. Favorites. Where's it at? Codex Bazet. This is the translation of the Codex Bazet. It's supposed to be a much older text. It's got a lot of differences in it. So Acts chapter 7. Yep, 75 souls. That's 75. So Book of Jubilees. You know, if people didn't mess with stuff, we wouldn't have to do this. But I guess it's a good thing. Went into, let's see, 75. So let's see. This is Jubilees chapter 44. Gives a list of everybody that came. In the land of Canaan, 2 sons of Judah died, and Onan. They had no children, and the children of Israel buried those who perished and were reckoned among the 70 Gentile nations. And all the souls of Jacob went into Egypt were 70 souls. These are his children, and all 70, but 5 died in Egypt before Joseph and had no children. So that's where you get the extra 5 at. So we've got, they count the 70, they don't count the 5 that died, but they got in Acts, they've got the 5 that are gone, which Jubilees records. And I think Genesis records 70 also. Well, Exodus, 70 souls. Genesis, 66. So you got 66. Threescore and 10 area. And the sons of Joseph, Genesis, which were born in Egypt, were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob which came to Egypt were 70. So Genesis records the same thing. So Acts, they had Jubilees, so they knew it was 75. Another witness for Jubilees. 22. So Deuteronomy 11. Is 2:6 all the way to verse 2. Deuteronomy 11, therefore thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim and keep his charge, his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. Know this day, for I don't speak with your children who have not known and who have not seen the chastisement of Yahuwah your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, his signs, and his works, which he did in the middle of Egypt to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to all his land, and what he did to the army of Egypt, to their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued you, and how Yahuwah has destroyed them to this day. So they found a translation where they were translating into the Greek in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I believe is where the Septuagint came from. They were translating it into Greek. The Egypt and Ptolemy and all that other, I think that's a fable. The Levites in the Dead Sea Scrolls with John the Baptist were translating the scriptures into Greek. That's where we get our Septuagint at. 4. So 4 to 6, and then 9. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until you came into this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them in the middle of all Israel. But your eyes have seen all of Yahuwah's great work which he did. Therefore you shall keep all the commandment and the statutes which I command you today, that you may be strong and go in and possess the land where you go over to possess it, and that you may prolong your days in the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give to them and to their offspring, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land where you go in to possess isn't like the land of Egypt that you came out of, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot as a garden of herbs. But the land where you go over to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of the sky, a land which Yahuwah your Elohim cares for. Yahuwah your Elohim's eyes are always on it, from the beginning of the year even to the end of the year, It shall happen, if you shall listen diligently to my commandments, which I command you today, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. There it is again. 13. So let's see, 14. No, so 27, 30, 18, 21. It's all over the place. So 14 to 18. Let's see. That I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn, thy wine, and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then Yahuwah's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, that the land yield not her fruit, unless you perish quickly from off the good land which Yahuwah giveth you. Therefore you shall lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul. You shall bind them for a sign on your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. We saw that earlier. His commandments are marked in our hand and in our head, frontlets between our eyes. So 18, 27, 21. All right, so you shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorpost of thine house and upon thy gates, that your delay. As a matter of fact, let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, Los Lunas. That's interesting. They found this stone out there in New Mexico with the father's name on it. Paleo Hebrew. Or it was. Yeah. There's an olive right there. They had some vandalism on it. But they Los Lunas gate stone. So you see here, you shall write them upon the doorpost, upon thy gates, gate stone, that your days may be multiplied in the days of your children in the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give them, as the days of the heavens above the earth. For if you shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you today to do them, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will Yahuwah drive out all these nations from before you, and you shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, even unto the utmost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for Yahuwah your Elohim shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that you shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse, a blessing if you obey the commandments, a blessing if you listen to the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today, and a curse if you do not listen to the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, but turn away out of the way which I command you today, to go after other gods which you have not known. It shall happen when Yahuwah your Elohim brings you into the land where you go to possess it, that you shall set the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Aren't they beyond the Jordan, behind the way of the going down of the sun, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in Arabah, near Gilgal, beside the oaks of Morah? 30. For you are to pass over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein. and you shall observe to do all the statutes and all judgments which I set before you this day. So it looks like they did. Somebody made a gate stone. Whether it was a dispersed tribe or what kind of settlement. Yep. So, good study. Hope that was helpful and a blessing to somebody. And happy Sabbath again. I want to share a website with you. Go to levitebible.com. Got the Book of Jubilees, 2nd Esdras, Enoch, Illustrated Enoch, Apocrypha Test, lots of research, old maps. So, good stuff. And go to ofairinstitute.com. When I first saw this book, I said, Solomon's treasure. Who cares? Treasure. It is much, much more than that. It is biblical treasure. Not just gold. I highly recommend to read this. Very good book. Lots of great information in it. The Treasure of Ophir. Ophir, Philippines. Yeah, they've got their other books on here. Very good book. I only disagree on a couple of points there. So, yeah, they got all these here. The word Apocrypha, about 382 in the days of Jerome. Yep, and they have other video documentaries, God Culture. Excellent, excellent research. So, all right.